all of the things that they're not mentioning, it seems like they would have mentioned that. Even still, no splatter and no pooling. He just showed you the picture.
Charlie Kirk's widow is getting roasted online for allegedly faking tears at his memorial, and that's just scratching the surface. Dave Chappelle and Jaguar Wright have thrown gasoline on the fire with explosive claims about Erica Kirk's true role in this entire saga, and what they're saying flips everything upside down. These two heavy hitters aren't holding back anymore. They're calling out what they see as a hidden, twisted game Erica may have been running behind the curtain, and the receipts they're dropping are making the internet absolutely lose it. Could Charlie's own wife have been moving chess pieces on a board the rest of the world didn't even know existed? This isn't just juicy gossip. It's a nuclear-level bombshell that's making people look at Charlie's death through an entirely different lens. The viral question right now is short but bone-chilling. Was Erica Kirk really grieving? Or was something else happening while the cameras rolled and the country mourned? Her every move after Charlie's death has sparked more whispers, screenshots, and wild threads than any official report, and the noise just keeps getting louder. Before diving into the dangerous claims Dave and Jaguar are throwing down, you have to understand the backdrop. Charlie Kirk was gunned down at a public event, and almost instantly leaks started dropping that didn't add up. The official story kept shifting, the evidence felt shaky, and Erica's reaction, let's just say it set off alarms instead of sympathy. People started murmuring the same thing. Erica Kirk wasn't acting like a shattered widow at all.
Greatness is from God. When a hero stumbles, well, the cowards rejoice. Nothing feels better to a coward than to watch a brave guy fall. These cowards that rejoice, well, they don't understand what greatness looks like.
She was acting like the lead in some high-stakes production. She smiled during interviews, slid into power at Charlie's organization within days, and even rolled out fireworks at his memorial. Fireworks! Who does that at a funeral? The footage is right there, but most people were too scared to voice it until now. That's when everything took a jaw-dropping turn. Jaguar Wright barreled onto the scene with no filter, no hesitation, and went for Erica's throat with words that landed like a hammer. Jaguar didn't just question Erica's grief, she branded the whole memorial speech as performance art, a staged act instead of real heartbreak, and once you hear her breakdown, you can't unsee it. She dissected it frame by frame, no visible tears, flawless makeup, and body movements timed perfectly with the memorial's music like some eerie choreography. Jaguar called it straight up uncanny valley vibes, in that creepy, skin-crawling feeling you get when something looks human but feels disturbingly fake. And coming from Jaguar Wright, a veteran who's been in the industry trenches for decades, that accusation isn't casual gossip, it's a blazing warning shot. Then Dave Chappelle stepped in and detonated the whole thing. Dave didn't just echo Jaguar, he raised the stakes sky high. According to insiders he's plugged in with,
I do not believe for 1 second that they met organically. How do you think they met each other? Do you think that they bumped into each other at CPAC and Charlie said, hey, let's go on a date? No, they were set up together by somebody. Who set them up?
Dave claims Charlie wasn't just taken out, he was literally sacrificed by the same power players who built him up and put him on that stage in the first place. If what Dave's saying checks out, this isn't just another tragedy, it's a bone-chilling setup that completely changes the narrative around Charlie Kirk's death. Let that sink in for a second, and it still doesn't stop there. Even Nick Fuentes, normally in Charlie's inner orbit, is publicly asking questions that rattle the room. Dave and Jaguar didn't just stop at Erica's bizarre behavior, as they turned the spotlight on the very foundation of her relationship with Charlie. How did they even meet? Nick Fuentes floated the idea their marriage wasn't some starry-eyed romance at all, but a calculated arrangement. According to him, powerful backers needed Charlie to have a polished wife at his side and a picture-perfect partner for his political image. And Jaguar, she didn't hold back one bit. She said flat out, nothing is coincidence, especially hammering the fact that their so-called love story began in Israel of all places. The whole timeline reeks of calculation. Who just happens to meet their future spouse overseas, then comes back and instantly transforms into the picture-perfect political wife. Too neat, too flawless, too staged. The more you unravel this thread, the more it looks like their entire love story was built for the cameras, not for the heart.
I could ever dream of. I mean, it's beautiful, and Turning Point Action, full steam ahead. So powerful. All of the other programs within Turning Point USA.
Then Jaguar Wright took her gloves off and tore into the shooting itself. itself, and in the way she broke it down left people hitting replay on her words. She said flat out the forensics don't add up. If Charlie was shot at the angle the officials claimed, there should have been spray on the people behind him. There should have been an exit wound, a messy pool of blood, something real. But what did we see? None of that. No splatter, no chaos, just a sanitized scene that looked more like a stage set than a tragedy in real life. Jaguar's been around too long to let shaky details slide, and she's not letting this one off easy. When physical evidence doesn't line up with the official version, that's not a mistake. That's a cover-up in plain sight. But the part that gave people chills? How lightning fast Erica moved the moment Charlie was gone. Within days, not weeks, not months, days, she had the reins of Turning Point USA in her hands. She was already giving polished speeches about expanding the empire and even cracked a smile while talking about their blessed workload. Who does that when their husband has just been buried? Most spouses can barely stand after that kind of loss, but Erica, she was making boardroom moves like she'd been waiting for this opening all along. By now, the same question echoing all over the internet is probably sitting in your head too. How could Erica Kirk step into that role with such speed, power, and zero hesitation right after Charlie's death?
I'm just gonna say it, Erica Kirk's behavior is unsettling as f***. It's not conveying real grief, it's conveying performance. It's giving uncanny valley. Like, this woman came out on stage to pyrotechnics, timing her body language and her crying to the music.
And the deeper you dig into those early days, the stranger it all gets. Let's rewind. While Charlie's friends and supporters were still dazed, numb, and grieving, Erica was already holding meetings, rallying donors, and calling Turning Point staff to line up behind her leadership. And here's the kicker. Not a flicker of doubt crossed her face. No breakdowns, no lost moments, no visible grief. Instead, she looked like a woman who had been rehearsing for this role long before tragedy struck. And that's exactly why alarms are blaring across social media. Jaguar Wright drilled that point home with brutal precision. She threw out the question no one wants to face. What kind of grieving wife smiles while sliding into the throne her husband just vacated? Jaguar compared it to a corporate takeover, when a CEO suddenly disappears and the second in command swoops in like they've been prepping for years. But this wasn't a company merger. This was a marriage, a family, a movement. And yet Erica treated it like a power upgrade. And if that wasn't unsettling enough, the photos from Charlie's memorial added fuel to the fire. Internet detectives noticed that in almost every shot, Erica wasn't in the shadows clinging to loved ones for support. She was in the center, framed perfectly, surrounded by cameras and staff. The event didn't feel like it was about mourning Charlie at all. It felt like it was about crowning her as the new face of Turning Point, and those fireworks at the memorial. Come on, who greenlights fireworks for a funeral? Erica did. She wanted a show. She wanted the spotlight, and the internet will never forget that spectacle.
Then she gives a speech that comes off as more of a piece of performance art than it does as an expression of real grief. And when you look at that woman's face, there is not a single tear streaming down that woman's face. There is not a single smudge of makeup out of place. She's making it look like she's crying, but she's not really crying. So yeah, the whole thing is unsettling.
Then Dave Chappelle stepped in and stitched the threads together with his signature fire. According to Dave, Erica's behavior didn't look like grief. It looked like orchestration. He said the entire transition from widow to leader played out less like the chaos of tragedy and more like the smooth rollout of a planned succession. In his words, Charlie's exit may not have been just a shocking loss. It may have been part of the script all along. Think about how heavy that really is. If Dave's right, then Charlie Kirk wasn't just some random victim of a public attack. He was part of a bigger script, a narrative crafted to keep the Turning Point machine alive and spinning under a new figurehead, his own wife. And suddenly, Erica's lightning-fast takeover doesn't just look shady. It looks like proof the plan was in place all along. But here's where the story twists even darker. Insiders close to Turning Point claim Erica didn't just slide into Charlie's role. She rewrote his entire legacy almost overnight. The fiery speeches Charlie was known for, suddenly rebranded with a cooler, more polished tone. The donor meetings he once ran, now being pitched as vision sessions, with Erica pushing aggressive expansion plans Charlie never greenlit. One insider spilled, "It's like she was reading from a playbook Charlie never even got to see." That's not stepping into his shoes, that's snatching the whole closet and changing the style completely. And Jaguar Wright is the one dragging these dots into the light. She pointed to the eerie convenience of Erica's transformation. Before Charlie's death, Erica was painted as the quiet, loyal wife standing in the background. After his death, she emerged with confidence, polish, and stage presence that looked way too practiced to be new. Jaguar's blunt verdict: Erica wasn't reacting to tragedy. She'd been trained for this moment. Let that sink in. If Jaguar's right, then Erica's marriage to Charlie wasn't about love at all. It was a calculated arrangement to boost his image, while secretly grooming her to take the wheel if his time ever ran out. That's a bone-chilling thought, but it's the exact narrative dominating conspiracy boards and late-night live streams coast to coast right now. And don't forget the forensics Jaguar ripped apart earlier. No blood splatter, no exit wound, no chaos. Do you know what experts say that sounds like? A staged scene, a controlled setup, something engineered to shock the public but sanitized just enough to dodge deeper investigation. Now pair that with Erica's flawless delivery at the memorial, makeup untouched, composure unshaken, voice steady, and the image of a devastated widow starts to feel more like the performance of a lifetime. And here's the kicker: it's not just Jaguar and Dave fanning this fire anymore. The internet is ablaze with theories that Erica's rise was scripted from the jump. Clips of her speeches are getting slowed down and dissected frame by frame. People are pointing out the smirks, the perfectly timed pauses, the way her eyes light up whenever she mentions growth or expansion. One viral thread put it plain: she's smiling like she just got promoted, not like she just buried her husband. That one post alone pulled in 500,000 likes in just 48 hours. Even Nick Fuentes, never one to keep his mouth shut, has suggested straight up that Erica and Charlie's marriage was an arrangement crafted by power players. According to him, Charlie needed a wife to give his image credibility, and Erica fit the profile to perfection. Jaguar doubled down, reminding everyone that their fairy tale just so happened to begin in Israel, one of the most politically loaded places on the planet. And let's be real, the odds of a political juggernaut like Charlie randomly finding his perfect match overseas, only for her to later inherit his throne, slim to none. That doesn't smell like destiny, that smells like planning. Now zoom out. Charlie Kirk wasn't just a man, he was a brand. Turning Point USA wasn't just a college movement, it was a multi-million-dollar empire. Big donors, prime media slots, a full-blown machine built to push a specific agenda. If Charlie fell, the entire empire risked collapse. Unless someone was ready to step in immediately and keep the gears turning. And guess what? Erica was ready. Too ready. And this is where Dave Chappelle's bombshell hits hardest. He suggested Charlie wasn't just silenced, he was sacrificed. Not by enemies outside, but by the same players who built him up. A strategic removal to ensure the empire could survive with a fresh face at the helm. Sacrificed for the machine's survival. It's a haunting allegation, but when you line up the timeline, Erica's flawless composure, and the way power shifted, you can see why so many people are starting to believe it. And through all of this, Erica hasn't slipped once. She hasn't cracked. She hasn't shown the raw heartbreak people expect. Instead, she's doubled down as giving speech after speech, pushing bigger expansion plans, and presenting herself as untouchable. For some, that's inspiring strength. For others, it's downright chilling. Because if Erica was really grieving, wouldn't there be cracks in the armor? Wouldn't there be slip-ups of raw emotion? Instead, every move looks rehearsed, polished, intentional, like a woman executing a role she's been preparing for all along. So here's the burning question the internet won't let go. Was Erica Kirk truly mourning her husband, or was she stepping into the role she had been groomed to play all along? And if that's the case, then Charlie's death wasn't just a tragedy, it was one of the most calculated power plays America's seen in years. Dave Chappelle didn't sugarcoat it for 1 second. He straight up said Erica's behavior destroys the devastated wife image her camp tried to push onto the public. And honestly, he's not wrong. When most people lose a spouse, the last thing on their mind is business meetings, board takeovers, and empire building. But Erica, she moved like a CEO assuming control after a merger, not like a broken-hearted widow. The whole thing felt scripted, calculated, staged to perfection. Social media caught it fast too. One viral TikTok dissected the memorial frame by frame, calling Erica's performance uncanny valley vibes, and watching it will make your skin crawl. The creator highlighted how Erica literally walked out to pyrotechnics at her husband's funeral. Pyrotechnics. And how her body language synced perfectly with the memorial music. Through it all, not a single tear stained her face. Her makeup, flawless. Her posture, sharp. Her composure, unshakable. It was like watching a stage production, not a woman saying goodbye to the love of her life. And if regular people on TikTok can spot that, What does that tell you about how obvious it really is? Dave's bigger point lands even harder. The fact that Erica was positioned to take over instantly, with staff lined up, donors ready, and media already pointing cameras her way, makes the whole thing look less like chaos and more like a polished succession plan. Planned, executed, seamless. And then comes the real dagger. Dave dropped the insider claim that Charlie had turned down a $150 million donation right before his death. That's not just money, that's world-shaking power. At that level of wealth, human lives stop being sacred. They turn into chess pieces, disposable, replaceable, expendable. That's the dark reality Dave's been shouting about for years. And now, paired with Jaguar Wright's relentless breakdown of the forensic inconsistencies, it paints a picture that's almost too sinister to wrap your head around. Erica wasn't just standing by her husband when he died. She might have been moving inside the very machinery that led to his fall. Now let's really unpack that $150 million bombshell, because this is where the story slides from shady into downright sinister. According to Dave's insiders, Charlie Kirk said no to a donation so massive it could have changed Turning Point's entire future. $150 million, like not pledges, not stock options, cold hard cash. For a political nonprofit, that's not just funding, that's a leash, that's ownership, that's buying the soul of a movement with one check. And here's the part that freezes people in their tracks. Charlie reportedly said no. He refused to bow to the strings attached, because let's be real, a check like that doesn't come with blessings and handshakes. It comes with obligations, with people expecting to dictate policies, shape messaging, and control endorsements. If Charlie truly turned it down, then he wasn't just rejecting cash, he was rejecting control over his legacy. And in the world of billionaires and political giants, that's not a no they forgive. That's a slap in the face. Now drop Erica into that mix. What happens just days after Charlie's death? She's on stage smiling through fireworks, stepping into the leadership chair, the same chair that would soon be negotiating with those very same power players. Doesn't that feel a little too convenient? Charlie says no. Suddenly he's gone. And Erica, polished, camera ready, and full of ambition, is saying yes to expansion, yes to growth, yes to blessed opportunities. If you're looking for motive, it doesn't get any clearer than that. Jaguar Wright took it even further, reminding everyone that donations like this aren't acts of kindness, they're leverage. Billionaires don't drop checks that big because they care about the cause. They do it to buy influence, to make sure their hands are on the steering wheel of power, and if Charlie wouldn't play ball, then maybe someone else would. Someone like Erica. Dave hammered that angle home in classic Dave fashion. He pointed out that history is littered with people who refused to bow to power and ended up silenced, erased, replaced, forgotten. He warned his audience that this game isn't about fairness, it's about survival. And at that level of power, survival means eliminating obstacles. If Charlie Kirk became an obstacle, then his death wasn't random violence at all. It was cold, it was deliberate, it was business, ruthless, calculated business. And that's exactly what makes Erica's lightning-fast grip on Turning Point so disturbing. Most widows are drowning in grief, struggling just to get out of bed, let alone run a multi-million-dollar empire. But Erica? She wasn't stumbling. She was ready. Board meetings, polished speeches, PR appearances, all locked in, all rehearsed, all too perfect. It didn't look like coping with loss. It looked like executing a plan that was waiting in the wings. And social media wasn't fooled for a second. TikTok detectives froze her crying footage frame by frame and caught the receipts. No real tears, no smeared makeup, not even a crack in her voice. One viral clip summed it up perfectly. She looked like an actress hitting her marks, not a wife burying her husband. Harsh words, but when you line that up with the whispers about the $150 million rejection, the whole scene stops looking like coincidence and starts looking like choreography. So who could be hiding behind that mountain of money? Dave and Jaguar never dropped names, but they didn't need to. Everybody knows the world of billionaire backers, shadowy mega donors, and political kingmakers is crawling with players who bankroll entire movements, bend media coverage, and decide who rises and who gets erased. If someone in those circles felt Charlie was becoming a liability, then removing him and sliding Erica into his place wouldn't just solve their problem, it would lock their power in tighter than ever. The more you connect the dots, the uglier it gets. Charlie Kirk stood at the center of a machine powered by money, donors, and a carefully crafted image. But the moment he refused to play ball, he became unpredictable, dangerous even, to the people who thought they owned him. With Erica, they didn't just get a stand-in, they got someone polished, compliant, and perfectly willing to embrace the role she stepped into overnight. And that's why Dave Chappelle and Jaguar Wright's allegations are rocking people to their core. They're not just hinting Erica acted strange, they're suggesting Charlie's death wasn't about politics, crime, or even tragedy. It was about cold, hard money, the kind of money that makes people disposable. Because in that ruthless world, when you say no to the wrong check, you don't get a second chance. Erica wasn't just present at the memorial, she was active, she was center stage, and she was flawless. The pyrotechnics, the camera-ready makeup, the performance art eulogy, the lightning-fast takeover of Charlie's empire, the suspiciously perfect marriage timeline, the forensic gaps nobody can explain. Every single piece screams preparation. And that's what terrifies people the most, because it suggests the figures we're told to trust, the ones who claim they're fighting the establishment, may actually be in bed with the same forces they claim to oppose. Charlie Kirk made his name as the anti-establishment rebel, the fighter taking on the machine. But if Dave's right, that machine didn't just push back, it crushed him. And the final dagger, it used his own wife to finish the job. That's not just a scandal, that's a blueprint for how deep the corruption runs. Because if they can pull off something this elaborate, this polished, with this many moving parts, what else are they capable of? Dave Chappelle has put his career on the line before to expose Hollywood's darkest secrets, and now he's pointing that same spotlight at politics. Jaguar Wright has risked it all to name names for years. These aren't voices chasing clout, these are insiders who've seen how the machine works. And when mainstream outlets won't touch it because it's too explosive, that's when you know you're getting close to the truth. This is why independent voices matter. This is why Dave and Jaguar can't be ignored. They're asking the questions too many are afraid to whisper. And now the conversation has exploded past who pulled the trigger. The real question is, who knew it was coming and let it happen? So I want to hear from you. Do you believe Erica Kirk is just a grieving widow caught in the storm, or do you think she was playing a role in something far darker? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit like, smash that subscribe button, share this video everywhere, and join the conversation, because this story is only heating up. See you on the next one.